Havana syndrome attacks. Solved. Havana syndrome attacks are side effects caused by direct saturation from a modified, strength-adjustable L1 1575.42 MHz pulse GPS microwave carrier signal, aka a spoofed GPS signal, GPS data spoofing. A modified L1 1575.42 MHz GPS signal is the catalyst for side effects electromagnetic hypersensitivity syndrome and microwave auditory effect hearing, Frey effect, aka Havana syndrome attacks. Yes, a modified GPS signal. Our American diplomats and targets around the world are being hacked, under surveillance, and tortured by a GPS data spoofing system. The FBI, CIA, DoD, FCC and other U.S. government agencies, at this point, are allowing torture produced by Havana syndrome attacks. We have reported these attacks many, many times only to be told by local police, there is nothing we can do. Havana syndrome attacks are side effects caused by direct saturation from a GPS data spoofing system. Havana syndrome attacks ailments, cricket noise, voices, explained, and how to detect if you are being saturated with a GPS data spoofing system, aka Havana syndrome attacks. It's not that our government can't figure out what Havana syndrome attacks are, how they are created, and what they do, it's that they don't want to disclose the catalyst for Havana syndrome attacks. Havana syndrome are created by saturation with a modified, strength-adjustable L1 1575.42 MHz GPS pulse electromagnetic microwave phase locked loop carrier signal network cloud. This is called a GPS data spoofing network cloud. An L1 1575.42 MHz carrier signal is the GPS signal we use every single day. Modifications can, and are being made to provide the ability to hack, provide, surveillance, and torture. Once again, the L1 1575.42 MHz microwave carrier signal is a GPS signal, making a GPS carrier signal the catalyst for creating a GPS data spoofing network cloud system. Terrorists, organized gang members can, and are using a GPS L1 1575.42 MHz microwave carrier signal, with modifications made to hack, perform phase synchronization hacking, and torture using our world's best targeting system known to man, our GPS GNSS satellite system. So it's not that the FBI, CIA, DoD, FCC and other government agencies can't figure out Havana syndrome attacks, it's just that they don't want the public to know that anyone can use our GPS GNSS satellite system for remote, wireless, satellite data, binary hacking, audio surveillance and more, but by doing so they are not responding to people begging for help. My family and I are still being tortured daily, after years of begging for help. Maybe instead of allowing this to continue we fix the problem. GPS data spoofing works by saturation of a targeted area selected by latitude, longitude on Google Maps. OR with this GPS data spoofing system for phase synchronization loop locking onto an IP address using a modified, strength-adjustable L1 1575.42 MHz pulse GPS microwave carrier signal network cloud. Havana syndrome attacks are side effects produced by being saturated with the catalyst for this GPS data spoofing system, which is a modified, strength-adjustable L1 1575.42 MHz pulse GPS microwave carrier signal network cloud. Microwave data sharing works by direct line of sight, but GPS data spoofing works by directly saturating an entire targeted area with a modified, strength-adjustable L1 1575.42 MHz microwave carrier signal to provide a direct connection with wireless electronics to create remote, wireless, phase synchronization hacking, monitoring, manipulating and locking onto targeted wireless electronics, and OR location. Can also provide audio surveillance from within saturated area. Havana syndrome attacks are side effects produced by a hacker fused for GPS data spoofing. GPS data spoofing works by saturating a targeted area, able to perform, when combined with a digital phase locked loop, data binary hacking, monitoring, sharing, and manipulation done by microwave electromagnetic phase synchronization. And can also, when combined with a GPS SDR SIM via GitHub, generate GPS baseband signal data streams, which can be converted to RF using software-defined radio SDR platforms, such as ADALM Pluto, BladeRF, HackerF, and USRP. Also provides real-time audio surveillance from within saturated area, turning audio from within saturated area into a frequency-modulated radio signal. GPS spoofing with HackerF Windows. Software used. 1. GPS SDR SIM via GitHub. 2. GPS broadcast ephemeris file latest. 3. HackerF_transfer.x compile yourself. Or via PathOSDR can download. Hardware required. 1. HackerF RTL SDR. 2. Windows Computer 10 or higher. 3. Digital phase locked loop made up of 3 parts. 1. Phase comparator. 2. Filter loop. 3. Voltage controlled oscillator. 4. Device for receiving GPS signals, Android phone or transceiver. 5. Google mapping system. In command prompt, latitude, longitude, and/or IP address can be entered to select destination. GPS data spoofing network cloud. PC computer with Windows 10 or higher. Linux can also be used to run GPS data spoofing program. Hacker RF RTL SDR. Hacker RF able to send, receive, modulate, record onto a carrier signal, and DEMODULATE, playback from a carrier signal, radio frequencies. The RTL SDR provides digital conversion of audio within GPS data spoofed saturated area into a frequency modulated radio signal able to be sent back for demodulation, playback from L1 1575.42 MHz modified GPS carrier signal DPLL. Producing audio surveillance. Digital phase locked loop DPLL. Made up of 3 parts. 1. Phase comparator. 2. Loop filter. 3. Voltage control oscillator. Controls power used by this system. A DPLL provides phase synchronization and locking onto wireless electronics within saturated area very much the same way a new television remote control works when connecting to a television. The frequency is matched copied and then locks on making a continuous connection. It also modulates, records and DEMODULATES, playback data onto, from L1 1575.42 MHz microwave GPS carrier signal. L1 1575.42 MHz microwave GPS carrier signal, basically the catalyst to this whole system, provides targeting, carries, sends, receives and manipulates data from within saturated area. Able to use the best targeting system known to man, our world's GPS, GNSS satellite system. GPS transceiver, antenna sends and receives binary code, digital data. When a digital phase locked loop and an L1 1575.42 MHz microwave GPS carrier signal are combined together, this creates a differential vector phase locked loop, which in this system creates a pulse electromagnetic microwave signal, which when used to directly saturate an area target can perform wireless remote digital hacking, and with the addition of the RTL SDR provides audio surveillance can be achieved within saturated targeted area. Altogether, this system creates a pulse electromagnetic microwave phase locked tethering loop network cloud connecting terrorists, organized gang members to target, send and receive digital binary code information, and once again produced audio surveillance from within saturated targeted area while also saturating any person, mammal also within that targeted area. These items produce a GPS data pulse electromagnetic microwave tethering phase locked loop network cloud that can hack by producing a phase synchronization connection with the aid of the digital phase locked loop incorporated with this system, and audio surveillance using the SDR also incorporated into this system. This system works by saturation of a targeted area, also producing side effects. Electromagnetic hypersensitivity syndrome and microwave auditory effect hearing, Frey effect. Together they are known as Havana syndrome attacks. Electromagnetic hypersensitivity syndrome, characterized by a variety of nonspecific symptoms, which afflicted individuals attribute to exposure to electromagnetic, microwave fields, which includes being saturated with a GPS data spoofing system. The symptoms most commonly experienced include dermatological symptoms. Redness, tingling, burning sensations. This system is at its core a pulse microwave carrier signal. The microwave radio frequency radiation heats water because the microwave radiation interacts with the dipole, separated positive and negative charge, of the water molecule. The microwaves turn the water molecules back and forth at approximately the frequency of the microwave signal, imparting energy to them. Our bodies are made up of 7 layers. The dermis portion of human skin, also known as corium, is the middle layer of skin that connects the outer layer, epidermis, with the underneath layer, hypodermis. Being 10-40 times thicker than epidermis, it stores much of the body's water supply. Its own water content is over 60%. GPS data spoofing causes the heating of the water in the dermis portion of the skin right underneath the epidermis, causing a severe burning sensation without leaving a mark. Itching as well as neurasthenic and vegetative symptoms: vertigo, fatigue, tiredness, concentration difficulties, memory loss, headaches, body pain, lethargy, tinnitus, ringing in the ear, dizziness, nausea, heart palpitations, heart arrhythmia, nausea, digestive disturbances, anxiety. The collection of symptoms is not part of any recognized syndrome. Microwave auditory effect hearing. Frey effect. This causes swelling and microwave heating of the cochlea and temporal lobe, enabling target mammals, humans within saturated area the ability to hear electromagnetic waves and radio frequencies and whatever is being carried on those radio frequencies, making target think they are insane, hearing buzzing, hissing and even voices carried on the radio frequencies from within this system that would never be heard without the use of wireless communication electronics. Havana syndrome attack voices. Because the catalyst of GPS data spoofing, GPS spoofing with HACKR, F, is a modified, strength-adjustable L1 1575.42 MHz pulse microwave phase-locked tethering loop carrier signal network cloud. Emphasis on the L1 1575.42 MHz microwave and the carrier signal portion. Let me start with the L1 1575.42 MHz microwave portion, which with prolonged saturation causes electromagnetic hypersensitivity syndrome and microwave auditory effect hearing, Frey effect. Now microwave auditory effect hearing, FRE effect occur within the range of 200 MHz to 6 GHz and higher. GPS data spoofing occurs at 1575.42 MHz, well within the range for auditory effect hearing. When saturated for a prolonged period of time with a GPS data spoofing signal, the L1 1575.42 MHz microwave carrier signal, it causes tissue in the head to swell, causing the cochlea and temporal lobe to swell, enabling target to hear electromagnetic waves, radio frequencies being carried within this GPS data spoofing system, saturating target area. Now remember, this system is a phase-locked tethering loop connecting terrorists, organized gang members to target with a carrier signal which can send, receive, and manipulate digital binary code and radio frequencies connected to this system. Terrorists, organized gang members can add a radio frequency and a mic, and they can transfer audio onto the added radio frequencies straight to the target's auditory system by passing the ear canal. A person must be saturated with this system for a significant period of time to have microwave auditory effect hearing. The hearing of electromagnetic microwave pulses is a unique exception to the airborne OR bone-conducted sound energy normally encountered in human auditory perception. The hearing apparatus commonly responds to airborne OR bone-conducted acoustic OR sound pressure waves in the audible frequency range. But the hearing of microwave pulses involves electromagnetic waves whose frequency ranges from 200 MHz to 6 GHz. A data spoofing system uses L1 1575.42 MHz, which is well within the range for microwave auditory effect hearing. GPS data spoofing being an L1 1575.42 MHz microwave GPS carrier signal, carrier wave provides global mobility and targeting for this system. Since electromagnetic waves, e.g., light, are seen but not heard, the report of auditory perception of microwave pulses was at once astonishing and intriguing. Moreover, it stood in sharp contrast to the responses associated with continuous wave microwave radiation. Experimental and theoretical studies have shown that the microwave auditory phenomenon does not arise from an interaction of microwave pulses directly with the auditory nerves or neurons along the auditory neurophysiological pathways of the central nervous system. Instead, the microwave pulse, upon absorption by soft tissues in the head, launches a thermoelastic wave of acoustic pressure that travels by bone conduction to the inner ear. There, it activates the cochlear receptors via the same process involved for normal hearing. Aside from tissue heating, microwave auditory effect is the most widely accepted biological effect of microwave radiation with a known mechanism of interaction, the thermoelastic theory. So what the target diplomats, civilians saturated in this spoofed differential vector phase locked loop microwave network cloud use for hacking, surveillance and torture are actually hearing is a mixture of electromagnetic induced tinnitus with the combination of a pulse electromagnetic microwave radio frequencies in a phase locked loop. This is all done by being saturated for a period of time with the L1 1575.42 MHz GPS microwave carrier signal, the catalyst for a GPS data spoofing system. This is why when first responders show up and do not hear anything, it is because their bodies have not had time to absorb the microwave radiation produced by the spoofed microwave network cloud saturated area. A person must be saturated for a period of time with a modified spoofed GPS microwave L1 1575.42 MHz network cloud to be stricken with Havana syndrome attacks, microwave auditory effect hearing, which means if they are experiencing symptoms, they have been under surveillance for a while. The voltage control oscillator from the digital phase locked loop controls how much power is fed into this system or taken, so the more, less power the stronger, weaker the electromagnetic phase locked loop, the more, less pressure and sound the target experiences, and the more, less torture the target is put through. The side effects from this global, hacking, surveillance, targeting system makes the targeted individuals think they are going insane, thus stopping them from reporting these attacks. Ways to detect a Havana syndrome attack: being saturated with a GPS data spoofing L1 1575.42 MHz pulse microwave GPS carrier signal network cloud. GPS spoofing, which is interference by saturating targeted area. This then interrupts the target's normal GPS signal. This is how diplomats and basically anyone can tell immediately if they are under a GPS data spoofing Havana syndrome attack. 1. Google search their immediate location, the address they are at right at that moment then. 2. Bring it up on Google Maps. 3. The blue location indicator will be moving independently as opposed to actually showing the true location of user, target, and at times not even in the approximate location that the diplomat target are in. GPS data spoofing is made up with oscillating electromagnetic waves, microwaves, and radio frequencies. Oscillation, which can be controlled with the VCO from the digital phase locked loop, produces low to moderate forms of radiation which can be detected by a thermal camera. I have proof. Not infrared but a thermal camera. It looks like a glowing wall around targeted area. It also radiates the target's water supply, and that can be seen as well with a thermal camera. Our diplomats and people around the world are being hacked, tortured, and under surveillance, all done by modifications made to an L1 1575.42 MHz microwave GPS carrier signal. In conclusion, this GPS data spoofing system is a pulse electromagnetic microwave phase locked loop network cloud able to hack wireless electronics, track and perform surveillance on targeted area person, and finally able to torture a mammal, human by using the best targeting and mapping system known to man. Our GPS GNSS satellite system. I use the word mammal because these GPS data spoofing systems also torture the target's household pets and they use this to their advantage. One other telltale sign that you are under a GPS data spoofing attack is the dogs in the neighborhood are going crazy barking. My dog Piper was raised in this madness, so when it is very severe, that is when she will start rubbing her head or stare at the wall. My name is Anthony Arellano. I have solved Havana syndrome attacks in my family and I are 12-year survivors from Havana syndrome attacks. Now let's wrap this up. This is, in a nutshell, GPS data spoofing. It can target, track, provide surveillance all by saturating a targeted selected area with a mobile wireless microwave network cloud, phase synchronized locking, hacking and monitoring of wireless electronics and anything within that saturated area. When saturating a targeted area occupied by mammals, humans, it creates side effects electromagnetic hypersensitivity syndrome, and microwave auditory effect hearing prey effect aka Havana syndrome attacks. Caused by prolonged saturation from the catalyst of this system. Direct saturation from a modified, strength adjustable L1 1575.42 MHz GPS microwave carrier signal.